what we're trying to look at is what is life on the ground, how have people been affected, what do they need, and all of those questions. And joining us now, so directly to my right, we have Lyubov Mykhailova, who's the founder of Izolatsiia, or Isolation, which is an initiative for artists, so a platform for cultural initiatives. They do a lot of different projects. They especially support artists there, originally from Donetsk. They've evacuated to here. And then to her right, so as we go down the line, we have Nataliya Udovenko, yeah, sorry, we're very happy to have as well from Vostok SOS, so an organization that helps IDPs. Now we've thrown that term out. What does that mean? It means internally displaced peoples. So they are, colloquially the term that's used more widely is refugees, but refugees are people that leave their country for another country. So these are people who are forced to flee, to go elsewhere, and to try and find places to live, food, warm clothing. And one of the biggest issues we're looking at now is that winter is approaching, and that creates different demands for IDPs, for military, for all of those questions. But we wanted to start with Lyubov first. So I have a video that I am supposed to show, and hopefully I will get this going. Do we have? Yes, so hopefully we should get some footage of your facility there. Could you tell us a little bit about Izolatsiia, how it started and where it is now?
Actually, I understand it's not a topic of today's discussion, but if we look back, then we follow the history of story of Izolatsiia, we'll understand why and what's happened in Donetsk. So in 2010, in the city of Donetsk, which was a very successful, economically developed city, mostly capital of Ukraine, we decided to make a foundation for cultural initiative because we have seen in the city of 1 million people, it was one museum in a very bad condition, no gallery, one commercial gallery, and that's it. Football and beer. So that our initiative was for people whose needs are beyond this. So for people who are interested by culture, different view, and different way of living. So for 4 years of existing Izolatsiia, we proved that how big interest of young generation, especially young generation, was for institutions like ours. Izolatsiia becomes for 4 years, we make more than 30 projects, we make a lot of festivals. I can just mention that in April, our last project in April 2014, when it was already Slaviansk, we had a Ukrainian literature festival with the topic language and violence. You know, so we want, and it's Ukrainian festival of different, it was a different opinion, it was people from Crimea, Tatar writer, Ukrainian, Russian. So we just wanted to show that we are different, but that is why it's a beautiful life. We are different, we can accept different opinion without Kalashnikov, we can discuss and we can find a way. So but Izolatsiia, of course, has a very strong, we are not political organization, but we had a very strong civil position, and of course, all our actions support the democratic processes. So in June 9, Izolatsiia was seized by militia, one of the militia group of so-called Donetsk Republic. The space of
Izolatsiia was a factory,
yes,
correct?
It was a factory, 7.5 hectares, with a beautiful shell. We just talked here about bomb shells, with a beautiful Soviet bomb shells. And this place was seized by militia, or whatever they call them, Cheka. And now the place with the people with the guns, under the reason it has to be used for humanitarian help coming from Russia. The people with Kalashnikov came to place, and of course we cannot, we have no Kalashnikov. So they took the place and they said, from now, from June 9, this place will be used for the help, for humanitarian help, which comes from Russia. Since 3 months we have seen development, and now we know that this is a place where the train fighters from, I think, Ossetia. They don't have names, so the guy who a main guy called Mongol.
And there is
there is another, and we know that located a big quantity of weapons, so maybe this is a humanitarian help. And there is another organization which called Cheka, the Special Committee. It has a history of Soviet Union, where people are, our bomb shelters used as a prison, and they kept more than 100 people. Now we're in contact with the people who were able to escape, so we have some story of the people, what's going on inside of Izolatsiia. So if this is a help, humanitarian help of Russia, it's such a very bright evidence what's going on. Let's observer of European observer come inside and watch what's going on. So this is a story of Izolatsiia. We move people, we move team here in Kyiv, and I can say it's a very big quantity of young people, and not only young, who escaped. It was here some figures that Donetsk has 750,000 100,000 people, but I can say it's no way. It's 1,000 and 1,000 people left Donetsk, and I can tell you with a big responsibility. We have a practice, and once per month we meet with the people who left Donetsk. So it's a big quantity of people, mainly young people, who has no will to stay in the place where the gangs, where the criminality, where there is no future. So I can say all of these people left Donetsk, and it's a big humanitarian catastrophe in the way.
And it's not a clean break either. You have families, some stay and others go, and that makes it very complicated.
My question then would be also to Nataliya, who is actually coordinating the hotline of the also established by volunteers organization Vostok SOS, which is the East SOS, would be in English. Today we had the Deputy Secretary of the National Security Council who told people could leave. Really? Can people from Donetsk leave? Do they have the place to stay? How it's all organized? What is the basic need,
So originally, government proceeds some procedure how people can do that, but some of them dangerous, some of them simply doesn't work, or numbers not answering, and this organization really working not so well. So the only tool IDP have for now, I mean the only working tool, of course, it's a volunteering organizations or non-government organizations, and when they're shooting a lot, like for example, like yesterday in Donetsk and Lugansk, so we have really lot of calls and panic. So we also working as psychological help to calm down people, giving some direction what they could do in the question of evacuation.
What do people ask? Like, what if people who called yesterday, these are people who are in Donetsk and Luhansk, within the separatist controlled areas?
Yeah, so yesterday and today is a more stressful situation, but if we would take the last months, it was more quiet regarding this kind of peaceful time. But of course, after Minsk, it became much more quiet. So mostly people was calling not so much as before, as it was June or July or August, but these cases were much more difficult. Like we didn't have pensions or social money for 3-4 months, like it been mentioned already. So of course it's not that much calls, but the situation is much more difficult how to find the solution for us. Sometimes it's really difficult. And also with the question of the accommodation, like all the government, non-government organizations, we are always on the edge of having requests and having this possibility to accommodate the people.
But is there a possibility to accommodate people, on the national level? Does the state provide this accommodation? Do they help you with evacuation of the people who want to leave, if they want to leave?
It is possible, but it took twice more efforts. Like if they deny you and you're not giving up, but not many people do that. For example, if they tell me no, we don't have, we are full, no places to stay. If I'm asking for paper with this action from government, then they say, okay, we will find a place for you. But mostly it's
well, and that's the challenge, because whether we're looking at military structures or other structures, there are failures of the governmental system where they can't provide what's needed, and that's when volunteers, whether from battalions to people supporting refugees, have come in to fill that void.
Of course, it's possible to endlessly criticizing the work of government, but I think the question is that it's really a lot of people are moving. It's thousands, it's hundreds of thousands, and government never been ready for that.
And in this respect, I just want to step away from the topic we talk now, and I want to say that the main question, there is no infrastructure of support, no infrastructure. We need this, we need that, but we don't work on infrastructure. So in this case, I just want to say that this year, the Pritzker Architectural Prize 2014, the most important architectural prize in the world, got Japanese architect Shigeru Ben for his disaster architecture, for his works which he does in Africa, in zone of disaster, how they organize places for living for people in disaster. I think Ukraine and places we have so many abundant industrial places. Let's do something where we can take people with a big quantity, use possibility of infrastructure, because we cannot go one by one, paper by paper. It's very difficult.
Well, Lyubov, there is a question for you, because besides you you founded this cultural platform Izolatsiia, you owning the you used to own two factories in Hromadske and Stakhanov, which are the under the it's in Luhansk and Donetsk People's Republic. What happened to the employees? What happened to the people who work? Do they get any money? Where are they staying? They're exactly the people who don't have any savings. We talk to them, they have nothing.
Yeah, situation is like this because it's industrial part of Donetsk and Lugansk region, and Gorlovka and Stakhanov suddenly we are in two different. One company becomes in two different countries. So, but both of them has no infrastructure, no possibility to deliver raw materials, supply products, and so on. So the rail system is completely destroyed. Energy system, electricity destroyed. So since July, I can say industry falls down. I don't know this miracle, how Mr. Akhmetov managed to be able to work with his plans and how the infrastructure is not blocked but probably he knows some extra special words. Some tools, But for usual businessmen, for foreign investor, we don't know this in this country, in Donetsk and Lugansk Republic. So I can say that the people has their two-third salaries, but we understand now, so we had a hope from June, July that situation will be improved, and now we understand that there is no hope. So we start to inform people, according to Ukrainian law, that in 3 months we have to finish the company. So, but by this moment, a lot of people left themselves. A lot of people left in Russia. I can say honestly, a lot of people left to Russia, and there is some people who stay still in Gorlovka or Stakhanov. They have no chance to move somewhere, and this is the point where I think we're all responsible, and we're all
limited people.
We're all responsible, and we have to do something for this. And I've heard here this discussion before that we have to discuss Minsk or not Minsk. So I think it's still Ukrainian people, and we have to make efforts to support these people somehow.
Well, and this is the issue too. I mean, in the summer, from people I'd spoken to, there were, some people, at least in Donetsk and Luhansk, who were waiting to see. People had businesses, they had things that were there. They didn't want to just leave it. Or even if they just had an apartment, they were concerned that if, they just went, something would be broken into and all that money would be lost. So they were hoping, and maybe even beginning of September, there's some enthusiasm that maybe things will normalize, people will get paid, and it won't be perfect, but you can stay, because obviously it's much harder to go. But as this has gone on, I think that's something fewer people believe. I mean, when people call the hotline for SOS Vostok, are they trying to plan to leave? Are they looking for that kind of support?
We trying in some point kindly inspire them to start new life, because of course we don't know, and some regions are so much destroyed. So when people living in some, we calling the places of compact dislocation, somehow like some hotel, or it's like 200 people the same place, we can see from international experience that it's not so effective. So people hoping and waiting, not associating that well in society. So we're trying to inspire them to find a job. Also, we giving all kind of connection to find a job, to how to bring kids to the school, to kindergartens, and so on. of course, helping with accommodation, helping how to register in the new place, how to get some social money. And
But is it hard because from some people I've spoken to, there can also be cases of discrimination, that people from Donetsk and Luhansk have a hard time renting an apartment or maybe in finding a job?
I can say two cases. First, of course, looking for places, the situation a little bit like this, it's true. The prices are higher, and sometimes people don't want to take these people from Lugansk and Donetsk region.
But why? What's the image of them, or what makes them not want to?
Mostly, these people simply confused. They simply don't know what to expect from these IDPs. Would they stay for long, or you giving the place for rent and they will leave in 2 months? So if you more self-confident, you're talking to this landlord that I want to stay for at least a year, and they see you personally, then it works fine. But also today I had another example. With one social worker from Switzerland. We visited today one place where 150 people lives and 45 kids. And we had this special question how kids go into school, do they have some problems with other kids, and they say no, we had no cases like this. So kids can assimilating really, really well.
So that would be last question from me, Lyubov, that probably shortly as well. You've lived there in Donetsk for a long time. You have huge business there, and there is this idea of kind of a frozen conflict. Are you gonna back? What will you do with your business, and how the people of like you, what they think about the whole idea of the special status, if to be short?
To be short, I can say that one story with this area, we don't know what's happened because we don't know what in the head of these people. Another story of behavior of Ukraine, who act absolutely inadequate to investors. So being investor, being completely ruined in this part of Ukraine, I have no support, even opposite, from Ukrainian government, national bank, tax authorities, so no understanding. As investor, I tell you, I would rather go to Venezuela and Latin America.
That's what we know now, and thank you for joining and getting this insight, information from Donbas, the east of Ukraine.